Good afternoon, colleagues. Welcome everyone to this event. This event is International Transportation and Container Industry. And before we start, I would like to give a thank you to our supporting organizations. The first one is Cyberport, a digital technology hub organized by the Hong Kong government. And the second one is the Hong Kong Liner Shipping Association. Fasten your belts and we are ready to take off. I wish everyone a pleasant and insightful event. So we often think about shipping as port to port, but cargo never starts in the ports and it never ends there. It always moves across a full chain, and yet these parts of the chain are still managed separately. In many industries, what takes days now takes seconds, but in multimodal container shipping, the process of getting, managing and selling rates has not really changed. Customers contact several carriers, wait for replies, collect ocean rates, tracking, rail, check local charges, and then try to combine everything into one solution. Even for a relatively simple shipment, this process may take days, sometimes longer. But if we see at this situation from a commercial perspective, during this time, your customer is not waiting only for you. They are speaking to your competitors, other forwarders, other carriers, service providers. And in many cases, the first complete and ready to use offer has a very strong advantage. Not always the cheapest, but the first that is clear and ready to book. So the speed of access to rates is no longer just an operational topic. It directly affects how fast you can convert interest into bookings. Now imagine, your customer does not need to wait for emails, does not need to manually collect buy rates, and does not need to exchange multimodal sale rates at all. Instead, they can see structured options, compare them, combine, or submit a booking within minutes. And here, your rates become more attractive for your clients because it's become instantly accessible, instantly usable for building other multimodal rates, and for you, they become instantly bookable, instantly convertible into potential bookings. So, and this does not change because you change how you calculate your rates. You still calculate rates as usual, but you change how your rates reach the market and how fast they transform into bookings. And this is exactly what we would like to explore today. If your rate is not visible, it is not sold. If we follow this logic, the question is no longer what is my rate. The real question is how easily for your customer it will be to get access to your rate, to use it, and to turn it into a bookings. Because today your rates reach the market mainly through direct communications, messengers, phone calls, local agents, and this model still works, but it has major limitation. Your rates are visible only when someone explicitly asks for it. So that means even if your rate is competitive, it may simply not be seen. Now let's look what is changing. Customers expect something different. They want to see options quickly, compare them and move forward without waiting. And this creates a new layer in sales, where your rates become directly accessed, easily compared with other options, and immediately used to build multimodal solutions. Rail, ocean, trucking, terminal can be combined together into one logistic solution. And here is the key point. Your rate is no longer just a standalone offer. It's a part of a larger logistic chain, which can be requested as a whole. Which means your Manila-Hong Kong service can be used not only by clients in Hong Kong or shippers in Manila, but consignees in mainland China, India, Central Asia, Europe, and many other parts of the world as part of a full door-to-door solution. And this creates something important. Your rate stays the same, but it starts generating additional demand that you did not directly generate. So visibility creates new demand. So the question, how can this work in practice? How can your rates become easily found, easily combined, easily booked? And at the same time, how can you keep control over your rates, over your conditions, and how they are used? Because you don't want to lose control. You don't want to rebuild your internal systems, and you don't want to change how you calculate your rates. So the solution needs to be very practical. It should work with your existing processes, not instead of them. Maxmodal addresses this problem at its core. Instead of working with files, you work with structured data. Instead of working with multiple formats, you work within single standard. And instead of manually exchanging rates, they are already connected in a one network, multimodal network. In simple terms, Maxmodal turns rates into building blocks that can be easily combined together into complete logistics solutions, ready to use and ready to book. Instead of spending many days on collecting, combining rates from different providers, you just quickly connect any rates into multimodal solution, and you can select where to assemble your multimodal solution on your local server or on Maxmodal cloud. In essence, this is a B2B system where everyone can assemble and sell rates in minutes. So let me show how it works, not from a system perspective, but from a commercial one, to show how your rates become more accessible and how they can generate more bookings. Let's start with a simple example. This is your service, Philippines, Hong Kong. This is your core product, but your customer don't ship from port to port. They ship from origin to final destination. So the full chain may look like this. Pickup in Manila, terminal handling in Manila, short sea from Manila to Hong Kong, transshipment at Hong Kong, deep sea dispatch from Hong Kong to Rotterdam, and then rail transfer from Rotterdam to Duisburg, transshipment in Duisburg, and the last mile final delivery to Essen, for example. In this example, your rate is only visible if someone explicitly asks for you. If you are not inside the chain, you are not used, you are not sold. So your reach is limited. So the question is, how can the same rate start using in many more situations? Now we simply build route in few steps, how we simply connect different parts by different providers in a few clicks. We create a multimodal service like this. So here we connect different elements, different freight rates by different providers. Here we see the full route from Manila to Essen with intermediate hubs. And now we create a multimodal rate. This is not just a rate, this is a complete logistic product from Manila to Essen. And now here in Maxmodal, rates become a product. Now let's see another example. Your customer can search routes. For example, Philippines, Hong Kong. And every time your service match the search, you will get system notifications. And this is not just notifications. These are potential sales leads. So the more services you post, the more potential leads you get. Furthermore, your customer can search also complicated routes like Philippines, Hong Kong, Germany. And these routes are also visible for search like this. So, and you are already in part of these offers, so you get also these notifications, and this is important. If we follow next, the customer can compare different options by transit time, by price, by different providers, thanks to filters available here. And based on this information, they can submit a booking request. And you already, inside that booking, you get this demand. So, because you already selected as part of the decision. And if we saw another situations, sometimes customers search for routes where no rates are available. For example, Philippines, Hong Kong, Birmingham in Great Britain. If there are no rates on this route, the system automatically creates requests and you receive it. So even if your services are not yet in place, you still receive these requests. So you don't lose opportunities, you capture them on Maxmodal. What does it mean from commercial perspective? So you operate one leg, Manila, Hong Kong, but that can be part of many intermodal solutions like Philippines, Germany, Philippines, France, Philippines, Poland, and many other routes. And once a whole chain is requested, you already get that request because you are part of this solution. So you operate your service locally, but sell your service globally inside logistic chains. And this is the key idea of Maxmodal. It's about multiplying demand for the same service. Now let's move next and consider another case. So in Maxmodal, you can also search for providers, for partners. You can set contacts with them, and you can start communicating with other providers in messengers. You can provide your rates, share your rates to your providers, or you can receive requests to your rates. Furthermore, you can post media and communicate about your services to Maxmodal communities. So every new user is your potential client here. So let's say a few words about updates. When one element changes, all related services change automatically in real time, which means that you don't need to manually collect rates from your suppliers, calculate multiple offers within your companies, and you don't need to distribute them across your clients' supply chains. All updates spread automatically across your clients, your company, and your suppliers. So this saves lots of time across the entire network, and this reduces errors with calculating rates. So let's summarize which we demonstrated before. Your rates stay the same. You keep control over your rates, but it becomes, in Maxmodal, more visible, more usable, and you can convert easily your rates from interest into booking here on Maxmodal. And this is the commercial effect. And this is where additional revenue starts to appear. Another demonstration. We have some interesting demonstration today. If before we spoke about how to make your rates more visible and more usable, the next question is how to make this scale further. Not manually, but intelligently. So what the next level would look like. So today we would like to demonstrate for the first time an AI-driven approach to multimodal service management. Let's start with a simple example. A commercial team wants to expand operations from China to Great Britain. Instead of spending multiple days on creating multimodal services, they can give instruction to the system like this: create multimodal services from China to Great Britain. And the system starts working. So let me explain what happened during these few seconds. The system defined key origins in China, major destination markets in the UK. Then it built multimodal routes connecting origins with destinations, which means that the system identifies intermediate hubs like seaports, hinterlands, railway stations, etc. Next, the system selected available providers on each of these segments. And here comes the most interesting point. Based on available rates, the system starts generating combinations, multimodal combinations. And in this example, from around 4.5 thousand supplier rates, the system generated more than 180,000 multimodal possible rate combinations within seconds. This is not about just the speed. It's about changing how your teams work, how your commercial teams work. Instead of preparing multimodal services manually in many days, you start working with opportunities, you start managing portfolios of rates, portfolios of market, which means that the system can intelligently support when and where to launch new services, how to optimize existing ones across routes, contracts, costs, and pricing. And the system can also support you in where to scale up or scale down your activities across different routes. So this is not about just automation. This is a new level of management intelligence in container shipping. And we believe that this is the direction the industry is moving towards. So let's move next. Everything we demonstrated today, like how your rates become more visible, how your rates become parts of more logistic chains, and how to scale your services worldwide, is only matters then it brings real commercial value. So our operating model is very simple. We don't ask you to change what you do. We don't change the processes, what you work with. We simply make your rates more visible and more easily convertible from interest into bookings. You already create and quote rates. So as a result, with our cooperation, your rates will get additional demand, both as standalone offers and as part of logistic chains. And next, your rates will get direct commercial upside, which means that once a booking generated in the system, you participate in that flow. So this is a very practical model when your rates start using in many more combinations and generate more demand within Maxmodal. So today we're talking about something very practical, not how to change your rates, but how to change your rates work on the market. We talk about how your rates become more accessible, how your rates become parts of more logistic chains, how your rates can generate more bookings. And we also look into the future and see how it would look like when managing services become more scalable and commercial teams can start working on completely different level. Of course, this is not something that happens overnight. This starts very simply with a few rates, with a few routes, and with a few real use cases. So if you saw today you feel relevant to your business, we would be happy to discuss it with you, to get your questions, to collaborate with you, and to plan a pilot project together. So thank you very much for your interest, for your attention, and we will be looking forward to your questions, and let's innovate your future together. Thank you very much.
So someone asking, did you test? Is it working?
Yes, it's working. So thank you for the question. Yes, it's working, and there are several thousand users already work in Maxmodal and registered in Maxmodal, and they create their multimodal supply chains here in Maxmodal. So of course this is a working solution.
One more question. Who are the target users of your platform? Shipping carrier, exporter?
As I told, thank you for the question, and as I told initially, this is a multimodal solution, which means that it's every participant, every company from international container transportation and logistics market is our target user. But focus is for container, which means that shippers, carriers, railway carriers, ocean carriers, forwarders, logistic providers, all from full container load segment, they are our target audience of our system. Full container load. Shippers, carriers, which means trucking, railway, ocean, short sea operators, and terminals as well. Terminals, container terminals, only container terminals, because they are key hubs for changing mode of transport.
Okay, still waiting for more questions. Another questions. Would you mind sharing the number? How many registration in your platform now?
Yes, there are more than 4,000 users at Maxmodal today working in this system. Different companies, freight forwarders, terminals from around the world. Okay, so thank you very much for your questions, and we will be looking further to receive your questions by all means of communications, and we are open to collaboration with you, with your companies, and should you have any more questions, we would be happy to assist and start collaborating with you